Come on, you clicked on the video, you gotta expect that one. Today's video is about love, but how can we use positive psychology to bring out more love in our daily life? Not romance, but love. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Strength of Character series. If you're new here, my name is Brandan and I'm a personal trainer. I'm really interested in what it means for a young man to be healthy today. Not just physically healthy, but healthy in a sense of like living a full life. And I know it's one thing for us to strive to have a great physique and to look really great, and it's a great goal to have, but what life is there to have if we also don't have great character? Well, the Greek philosophers first kind of explored this, and they defined what eudaimonia is, or human flourishing, which they say we can achieve through living a virtuous life. And life we can break down into virtues, but positive psychology research has continued this exploration, and they've defined 24 character strengths that fall under each of these virtues, and we can bring them out more in our daily life to truly live a great life. If you want to find out what makes the best you already, you can take their free VIA character strength survey to find out what your top character strengths are to begin with. And you can use them to bring them out a little bit more in daily life, not only make you a better version of you, but to live a more fulfilling life. That being said, today's video is about the strength of love, which is the first strength I'm covering under the virtue of humanity. So let's run. So what is love? Well, other than a song, love is something that we definitely know it when we see it or when we feel it. But rather than an emotion like that, as a strength, love is our ability to develop close relationships with others through warm, attentive interactions. And love is also our ability to receive love from others in their heartfelt acts. There's also a difference between love and kindness. And kindness is its own character strength as well, which I'll cover next. But kindness is more of like a general good nature towards everything and everyone, while love is more so about our ability to develop a closeness within relationships to those that matter most to us in life. I also want to point out another difference between love and romance. In Greek philosophy, there's a text called Phaedrus, which is written by Plato, which roughly translates to on love. And it's a story about Socrates exploring two forms of love. The first form, he says, is a kind of erotic passion that leads us to just pursue bodily pleasures, which is kind of what romance is, and it's just appealing to pleasure and appealing to just the good feeling we get and the excitement we get of love. That's a part of love, that's important. But he also describes there's a second form of love, which drives us to have an understanding of truth, or to seek out what is the perfect form of life, or our own individual perfect forms. Long story short, essentially they believed that when you are born, you pretty much fall from heaven, and your entire life you just spend trying to figure out what that perfect form of yourself was in heaven. And so love is about this continual understanding and this continual journey to understand what our perfect form is. And so when we love each other and we love someone else, it's about a continual understanding of what is that other person's perfect form and what makes them the most authentic individual person. So essentially what this means and how it connects to love is that we have both of these pursuits kind of constantly going on in our own life. And Socrates uses a comparison that we are the charioteer and we have two horses we're trying to control. One is that pursuit of pleasure, and the other one is the pursuit of truth, or pursuit of understanding of someone else's authentic self. And we have to find a sense of balance of controlling both at the same time. And that is how we can live a virtuous life with love specifically. It's easy to understand the pleasure part of love, and romance is a great tool to really spark that sense of excitement in our love lives. But if we were to really explore true deep love, we know that it is much more than just physical pleasure. In order to have that true deep love, we need to have a sense of vulnerability and mutual understanding or attentiveness of other people in our life. The problem is, and Socrates explores this as well, we are continually changing every day. And so there really is no end point to this understanding of each other. And so love really is an infinite game. It's about a continual choice every day to continually explore and pay attention to other people, to always understand how is this other person just a little bit different today, and how are they continually changing and growing. Overall, love is a continual interest in caring attention given to another. So bringing this back to love as a character strength, it's our ability to develop an understanding of others and to be able to have enough attention towards others to see how we do change in small ways every single day. We can't do this, and love can't happen if we are unwilling to accept others for who they are. And we can't have an idea of who other people are. We need to just mutually accept other people exactly for who they are and how they show up in that individual day. Now, philosophy aside, other than knowing your best friend's favorite food is Mexican food, it helps to have a better understanding of how you like to receive and give love to others. So Psychology Today has broken down 5 love languages, for example. You can take that free survey to figure out what are your top love languages and how you like to give and receive those different love languages. But there's also other ways to figure out your attachment style and how that kind of dictates the ways that maybe you struggle to give and receive love and ways in which you do prefer to have love in your relationships. We don't all appreciate gifts or physical touch the same, and we have these different attachment styles. So, for example, for me personally, I have an avoidant attachment style, and it's even tougher for me to break through kind of points of discomfort in relationships, and especially voice my own desires within relationships and kind of stand up for myself in terms of like what I would rather have in different ways of receiving or giving love. And so it's not that that's impossible to do, but sometimes it is a little bit more difficult for me to do that. But simply understanding that is how I kind of interact within love and relationships goes a long way to overcoming that and growing beyond that. And going back to that idea of continual understanding of how we are different and how we do change and how we can grow is really important to actually growing. Sometimes before we can see love in our own life, it's easier to spot it in others first, so I highly recommend watching the movies About Time and Patterson. About Time is a great love romance movie that I think is one of the most realistic portrayals of like healthy love relationships, not just romantic loving relationships, but family and friend relationships as well. It's really entertaining as well too. It's a fun idea of a movie. And Patterson is a great movie as well, and it's a unique movie in that it could be, if you expect it to be anything more than it is, you could easily get bored by it or confused by it or not entertained by it. So you really have to go into it and challenge your idea of what love is in everyday life. And it may seem boring to you, but I think it is also one of the most realistic portrayals of love in everyday life. And you're going to expect things to happen in the movie that do not happen in a way you would expect it to. So again, it's a fun challenge to watch the movie and accept it for what it really is, but it's a great movie. Now, I think those movies are great examples of the pursuit of truth and a perfect understanding of others and that side of love. But for reading a book, The Way of the Superior Man is a great book on the idea of sexual desire and that side of love in a healthy way. And if you find this as a controversial book, I still recommend that it may be even more important for you to read it. 2 things could happen. You could have a new insight from it, or you may be even more confident in your differing beliefs after having read it. So I still highly recommend reading this book. Much of love is about understanding the nature of others, and while each person is unique, there are still common patterns of behaviors that we all exhibit, and understanding them is really important in life. Now, moving on, to reflect on love in your own life, consider these. Who are the people that matter most to you across all areas of life? Consider friends, family, pets, coworkers, or teachers, and then think about how you express love in each way to each of these people, and how is it different between each person in each area of life. Love is often expressed in how we communicate with others, our wants and needs, our boundaries, our celebrations and losses. How well do you communicate with positive events and emotions, or negative ones? Is it easier to communicate with one or the other? As an act of love, challenge yourself to ask your partner or a family member or friend for feedback on how you may not have communicated very well with your own emotions or your own boundaries in life. And really try to use your humility and honesty with this one to get a just really meaningful conversation out of it. Like I mentioned earlier, we must find a way to balance both types of love in our life. To live with the golden mean or sense of balance is how the Greeks said we can live a virtuous life. And a life without pleasure or without seeking truthful understanding of others are both extreme. Underusing love can happen if you find it hard to be warm and open with others. Oftentimes this can come from events in the past in which maybe you got hurt, and so the idea of opening up to others may just subconsciously be really hard to do because your body is telling you, oh no, you're gonna get hurt again if you do this. Or if you haven't been hurt in the past within loving relationships, you may just simply find it hard to express warmth and your own emotions to others. Love is one of the greatest strengths connected to a sense of security and well-being in life. So challenge yourself to look for healthy opportunities to take risks and have a better ability to express love and warmth to others. One way that may be a good start for this is by simply starting a conversation to ask others how you may be able to better clearly communicate your own emotion and your love to others. You don't even have to do that yet, but you can start a conversation asking how others think it's best for them to receive that love from you. An underuse of love can also come from struggling to receive love from others and struggling to turn our own love inwards towards ourselves. Oftentimes this can come from those that are great, excellent caregivers towards others, but oftentimes neglect our own needs in the process. If this sounds like you, take a bit more time this week to prioritize your own healthy habits, whether that be through sleep, diet, and stress management. Try to also think about your ability to give love to others and how that may be limited by how well you are able to take care of yourself. Overusing love can come from being too intense with others before they are ready to receive it. This can oftentimes come from giving too many gifts, being overly honest with others, or sometimes just being too constantly present all the time. Kind of like how like a baby puppy would be, just like always at your side. Sometimes, puppies don't know, and I mean they're dogs, but it's tough to know when enough is enough and how to strike that balance of giving people space that they need and also still trying to be there with them because you do want to be there with them because you love them. This can also not be your fault, as acts of love are relative. It may just be up to the other person and they're maybe not ready to receive that amount of love at times, so it's still up to us to play that infinite game and strive to have that understanding of each person for who they are and their ability to receive love as well. That's not to say that we should hold back from giving love to others, but we should really complement it with a sense of social awareness and attentiveness of other people as well. That we know that sometimes there's a time and place for when we should give our love and attention to others. Giving love when the other doesn't reciprocate it can also open us up to feeling hurt in the future. Love requires us to take risks, but we must consider how to keep our efforts in line with those we are loving. Balance is key, but it changes every day. So, final thoughts. Love at its best is when we are able to experience intimate relationships by giving and receiving attentiveness, warmth, and care for others and ourselves. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging around. If you are still here at the end of this video, I really appreciate you. You are a real one, if you know what I mean. My only hope is that you were able to have a new insight about yourself or learn something new about positive psychology and how to connect ways to live in life and to find a new sense of meaning with that. So if you want to help a brother out a bit more, the best thing you can do right now is to just watch more of my videos, help tell YouTube that like, oh, this is an account that people's watching all their videos all the way through. So if you do want to do that, thank you very much for your help and support. I have more videos to come about positive psychology and how to live a healthy, full life, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe for more if you aren't already. Other than that, enjoy yourself a great week ahead, and you will catch me in the next one.